What up, what up? It's H-O-G, back into the top, back into the video. So the title of this video is going to be, why do black men don't attend church? So admin notes, thanks again to all subscribe to the channel. I endeavor to keep pushing the video out, give you leverage, you better yourselves. Let's get into it. So why do black men don't attend church? So I got a couple of talking points that I want to say when it comes to this topic. Not gonna belabor the topic, obviously, but there are a couple of reasons why black men don't attend church. Now, this is not a majority. This is from statistical data. I forget where this actual statistics came from, who created the survey. Maybe I'll put it down in the description below. But these are some of the reasons why black men don't attend church. And I kind of figured some of these things are already true anyway to begin with. One is poor and irrelevant sermons, lack of meaningful worship experience. So, this all can be catered down to maybe whatever what kind of church you're trying to attend. Would it be a Protestant, Catholic? There's a couple of churches in the Protestant when it comes to Kojic, Baptist, all these other things. And what I would tell you is a lot of times black men feel like when they go to church, it's more for entertainment than for them to actually get something. I will say that I think in the black church, a lot of times when it comes to sermons, I've actually have heard pastors say this in the black church, where they say that if you want to learn something about the Bible, come to Sunday school. Only thing that we're doing when it comes to the sermon is to actually reemphasize what may have been taught in Sunday school, or we're reemphasizing something that's in the Bible, but we're not here to teach anybody anything in the Bible. You may learn something while I'm preaching it, but I'm not going to break the Bible down in certain elements as opposed to how Sunday school works. And I think this is the reason why I think a lot of churches that are non-black are more of a teaching type church, more of a preaching type church. Because at the end of the day, if I'm a black man, and any man in general, but I mean, I'm just pertaining this to black men. If I want to be entertained, I can do that on the outside. I can go to a concert. I can go and see and go to a comedy show or a music concert or something like that. When I come to church, I want to be able to feel something and hear something that's going to be relevant to my life. Not for me to sit here and listen to a preacher or a pastor be on the pulpit and have a whole bunch of sounds, have a whole bunch of things that are talking about, and it's not being relatable to the people that's in the congregation. Now, this is no hit on black pastors at all, but this is one of the reasons why, on a personal level, and this is other reasons as well, but this is one of the reasons why I don't attend a black church anymore, because there's a lot of things that was happening in the church that I wasn't approving of, and my wife wasn't on board with these things as well. And I could probably go into that in a different topic in a different video. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why black men don't attend church. Poor and irrelevant sermons, lack of a meaningful worship experience, right? Number two is disbelief in God because spiritual values were not emphasized while growing up. And this goes into one of those things where folks will say, train up a child as he or she should, and they will never depart. I want to say that's one of the, that's the actual verse in the Bible. Yeah, I guess I would say that, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, you have a lot of men in general and women that will go to church because it's out of habit and it's out of, it's ingrained in them, right? Over a time span of them growing up. But one thing I would tell you as far as me being a Christian myself, the only way you're gonna be able to have a relationship with God is actually talk to Him and seek out relationship. And going to church is not enough. It just isn't. You can't go to church one time a week or even twice a week for like going to Bible study and then going to Sunday service and think you have a relationship with God. It doesn't work like that. You have to talk to God when you first wake up, during the day. You have to literally have a conversation with Him all the time and ask Him to give you answers to your questions. And just going to church on Sunday, you think that you're gonna be able to be filled for the rest of the week. That's not how it works. You can't just wait until the next Sunday to get filled. You have to keep talking and constantly seeking a relationship with God. And in the black community, a lot of times when a child is raised in church, it becomes ingrained in them. So it almost feels horrible for them even not to go to church on Sundays. But you don't need to go to church in order to have a relationship. Now, I will say when you gather with other people of the faith, it strengthens your faith in God, right? So there is benefit when it comes to going to church. You have to go to the right church. You have to go to a church that's actually going to be feeding you. But yeah, a lot of black folks will go to church based off a habit, not based off a relationship. And that's not a good look at all. You need a relationship with God if you want to be a true Christian. Let's see. Hypocrisy of church members and leaders. I mean, that's where any church, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we all human, right? You know, the pastor's human, the deacon is human, the ushers are human, the ministers in the church are human. Everybody's human, right? So what we try to do, we try to live a life that's acceptable and pleasing to Christ. But we all fall short, right? Now, I'm not saying that you need to go and intentionally sin and go to church that you're going to be forgiven every single time. And truth be told, you can do that, right? But the thing is that if you want to be a spiritual leader in the church, you have to try to, at the very best you can, live the life that you're portraying in church and not be a hypocrite. But there are a lot of folks in church that are hypocrites. I can call myself the same thing, right? Because I fall short every single thing, and I have to ask God's forgiveness when it comes to things that I fall short on. But one thing I will say is that I'm not going to put myself in a spiritual leader position, and I know I'm not living right, or at least I'm not trying to live right. There's one thing for you to not live right, and there's another thing for you to like intentionally be like, you know what, I'm just going to do whatever I want to do, and I want the position. I want somebody to call me a pastor. I want somebody to call me a deacon. I'm not going to live that life. I'm just going to. I want the title. I want the position. And God's not pleased with that. You know, if you believe in it, if you believe in the Lord, I'm telling you, God's not pleased with that, and He's going to deal with you. I promise you, He will. And the last one is ineffective outreach. Man. So in the black church, especially when it comes to coaching, once again, I'm not going to say anything bad about any type of church or a way a church runs. But what I will say is that the Kojic churches that I've been to with my wife was raised Kojic. When it comes to outreach and when it comes to missionary work, a lot of times they're not funded by the church. A lot of times my wife said she had to go to other churches that were not Kojic to get funded for outreach ministry and for missionary work, because they were not internally funded. They supported it, but they were not funded. And that's a problem, because we go to church to worship God and to serve the Lord, right? But the service is outside of the church. It's not inside the church. You definitely do service in the church, but what was Jesus' ministry? His ministry was to go out there and to seek new souls to save, right? And to heal and to give them knowledge of who God is and what God can do. And you go into church, if you call yourself a missionary, you call yourself somebody doing outreach, but you have the title, but you're not going out there actually going to Cambodia, going to Dominican Republic, going to Haiti, and actually building homes, feeding the poor, going around your own neighborhood and actually doing food banks, all these other things. If you're not doing those things, then you're not serving God the way God wants you to serve Him, right? It's all about outreach. It's all about being able to put out the good news to every single body you encounter. That's what ministry is. And when it comes to outreach, a lot of times in the black church, I don't really see that. Now, I'm not saying every single black church is like that. I'm just saying, like in Kojic and some of the other black churches I've been to, they support it. They're not going to tell you not to do it, but it's like the idea is put out there, but there's no push. There's no push towards it, and there's no funding. So it's like you get discouraged after a while. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I want to do the outreach, but I'm not getting no financial support, right? So it's a lot of times those things fall short. So anyways, those are some of the reasons why I believe, and according to statistics, why black men don't go to church. I actually preached this past Sunday at my church. I actually preached from Philippians chapter 3, verses 1 through 11. So go ahead and read that and study it because there's some good points in that particular passage of the Bible. But what I will say, the church that I'm in is a mixture. It's not a fully black church. The leaders of the church are black. It's for like the pastor and his wife. Actually, they're called apostles. But yeah, I mean, it's a mixture, and I believe it's a good, healthy mixture, because you also have a situation to where black men, they feel ostracized when it comes to certain churches they may go to. Anyway, I can get into another video when it comes to that particular topic. But drop some comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think about this topic. This is not a video to discredit black men when it comes to them going to church, because you have black Muslims, you have black Buddhists, right? So this is not a video to scold black men for not going to church, because it's a personal choice and a personal decision when it comes to you doing those things, right? But I just wanted to bring it to light some of the reasons why black men are not going to church. And if you're a black man out there that want to save souls based off of Christianity, then maybe those are some of the things you need to take into account, especially if you're a actual leader in the church. All right. So you want me to discuss the topic of such thing that benefits to the channel? Email me at findingfitnessfolk@gmail.com. My email address is in the description below. Say so, G. Signing out. I'm done.